Hello YouTube, thank you for clicking. Today I am talking about Jestermaxxing, Mr. Joker. Alright, this guy. So, who is the Joker? The fool. This guy right here, alright? Now, everybody knows he's one of the most powerful players in a deck of cards. He operates outside the usual rules. Okay, he does not follow the rules. His value depends on context and interpretation. Now, in many stories, the fool spoke very uncomfortable truths that most people would usually avoid. Even the so-called wise men, thus being called crazy, right? The Joker is crazy. Throughout history, I won't get too historical, jesters made powerful people think, such as kings, using humor. I want to talk about humor. Humor is actually a very powerful thing, and I don't think a lot of people realize this actually. Someone could say the most horrendous thing, right? And they would say, I was joking. Those three words change everything because of a few reasons, right? One, humor creates ambiguity. So, for example, back then, the king was never really sure if he was being entertained or criticized, or both. Two, this is a really big one, plausible deniability. This is a really important one. So when whatever message was being conveyed wasn't well received, this happens in real life too. Person could just be like, I was joking. Yeah, my bad.
There will be if I command it.
Then you'll be fucking your own bride with a wooden cock.
What did you say? What did you say?
A bad joke, Your Grace. Made out of envy of your own royal manhood.
So humor is actually a shield, right? It's a shield in case you say some dumb shit and yeah, people react. You could always be like, yeah, I was joking, even if people don't believe you. The third reason is emotional openness. Just people lower their guards, right? A joke isn't the same thing as if someone were to say something in like a straightforward way. It's not the same as a direct statement. So you're just a bit less defensive. You're not really gonna react the same way. So humor is really powerful. I think it's a really powerful way to deliver a message if you really want to say something. And I have a friend, she once told me there's a guy that tickled his way into her pants. I know that sounds crazy, right? But that's probably the case for a lot of women, right? Men that are funny, just generally funny people are really attractive. Humor also signals intelligence, being able to make people laugh. One other thing I want to say is that humor is a shield, but it is also a medium. And art, apart from comedy, let's say for example music, also could be a result. A very good example of this, and I've used this person as a case study in a lot of my videos now, is Doja Cat. So if you think about Doja Cat, her very first viral song, right, Moo, it started as a joke, right?
Yeah, bitch, I'm a cow, bitch, I'm a cow.
And even some of her other songs. So humor is kind of like a vehicle as well. It's powerful. The last thing is that it is a conversation stopper, because have you noticed that it's hard to drag or like prolong things after someone says, I was joking? It's hard to do that. And the closest thing actually that I could find to the words I'm joking is I'm sorry. They're different, but they're similar. And those two words kind of shift the social burden onto the other person. So the burden is now on you. Now there's like an expectation. When someone says I'm sorry, the emotional temperature of the interaction changes. It signals the person is accountable and, taking responsibility, at least in principle, right? The same thing applies for when someone says I'm joking. It kind of pushes you to reframe what they said, to reinterpret what they said. So in a way, the social burden is now on you and less on them. It's really interesting. Think about it. When you reject the apology and you continue to attack them, other people are very likely gonna look at you like you're the difficult one and you're not open to making peace or reconciling or whatever. The same thing for I'm joking. If you continue to argue, you now can't take a joke, or you're hard-headed. So those two, they change the interaction. And I'm sorry doesn't really restore trust, right? Just like the same way I'm joking doesn't really erase the impact. But those two words are powerful. Now, Jestermaxxing is very real in internet culture. And I wanted to use modern day examples. My first example is Drewski. I was watching the BET Awards the other day, and I just remembered. And my second example, which I think is a contrast in a way to Drewski, is Kanye. I think they're very similar, but different at the same time. Parallel lines. They never meet, but they have similar social rules. Drewski is a jester through parody, right? His skits.
We're praying for all the soldiers and troops.
That's great that you're praying, but...
And humor is his shield. And that's why he hasn't been cancelled. There's a tolerance there because of the humor, as opposed to Kanye, who has no armor. Kanye is very blunt.
Southern Louisiana and Mississippi may end up being the most tragic loss of all.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
He says provocative things with little cushioning, and he refuses to soften the delivery. And that really is the only difference between Drewski and Kanye. Drewski wears makeup and Kanye refuses. I actually have to say that even though Kanye is controversial, I really respect Kanye. There's just a perceived authenticity with Kanye. There's something really trustworthy about someone that is publicly messy and just real. Kanye is real. The only times I really side-eye him or like really disagree is when he calls himself a genius or a god. No, baby. It's just one of those things that it's someone else that says it to you, not you blurting out like, I'm a god. Yeah, I respect Kanye. It's not easy to take judgment and like a lot of hate, and so I respect him for that. So yeah, they're different, but ultimately they serve the same function, right? And that's why I think delivery is really important. It changes everything. And yeah, sometimes a joke isn't a joke. Maybe it's just the safest way to say something dangerous.